You know it's a successful homestand when for the second time during this homestand, we can say how sweep it is. What is up? What is going on, everybody? Welcome back and welcome in to the Seattle Mariners post-game recap. The Mariners sweep the Tampa Bay Rays. They win this one this afternoon 6-3. They improve to 66 and 53 on the season. As always, the big three, like the video you guys and gals are doing a ton of that for me. So thank you all so much. Welcome to all the new subscribers, new and old. Welcome in. 96 subs away now from 5,000. We are close. We are getting there. Hit that subscribe button if you're new or lurking. It's going to be a fun final month of this season. And then don't forget to comment your thoughts on the team and the game down below. So obviously Mariners get the W playoff standings wise. Unfortunately, the Yankees did not help the Mariners out too much this weekend. So the Mariners are still 0.5 behind Houston. That's okay. Not a problem there. The Mariners are solely in first spot for the wild card. So if the season did end today, the Mariners would be hosting minimum 2 playoff games, possibly 3. So they do sole possession of the first wild card. And they're 4 up on a playoff spot overall as Cleveland loses as well. And then Texas is now 6 behind Seattle. And right now the Mariners have the tiebreaker on Cleveland and Texas. So they're almost 5 games up on a playoff spot. It is looking more and more. I mean, we're at what now? 109 games. So you've got 43 left. Pretty strong grip on a playoff spot here for the Seattle Mariners. I think the question is now, what's the ceiling, right? They're only 3 back of the best record in the American League. But let's go ahead and get into this one. I mean, again, this team is just, I talked about it yesterday. Again, going to repeat myself when the team has won. Winning games left and right here makes it hard not to repeat myself. But I really do feel like this team can do it, right? We've had moments in the past where you're like, okay, this feels like a playoff team, but what's the ceiling, right? Like they could maybe go in a wild card round and lose in Boston or New York or something like that. But now, I mean, I look at this team and I think, why not? In fact, I wouldn't be shocked if you went to the betting odds in Vegas tomorrow. And if the Mariners were very close to one of the top picks to win the AL, they're probably not right now just because they're not in first place in their division. So, possibly playing more games would make it difficult. But man, if you took out who has to play in a wild card round or not, I bet you a lot of people would say the Mariners right now. Now, you got to keep that up, right? Everyone can have a trendy month and be that hot team and whatnot. And, for the first 3 months of the year, no one was going to beat Detroit in the American League. Now, I bet you no one would pick Detroit to get to the World Series. Sometimes it's just who can get right when you get to the dance, not even who's hot going in. So none of this is to say that final 43 games, who cares? It's going to be a battle. It's going to be a tough road trip coming up for the Mariners. But I do feel that this team can compete with anybody. I'm not intimidated right now. If the Mariners woke up tomorrow and we had the ALCS against Toronto, bring it on. Bring on Detroit. Bring on the Yankees. Bring on Boston. Bring on Houston. Bring on Cleveland. I don't care. The Mariners can take on any one of these teams. That is not saying they're guaranteed to win the series, of course, if anybody from those fan bases is listening. It's not at all what I'm saying, but it's not anything that I'm afraid of with this baseball team right now. The offense continues to be dialed in. 6 more runs today. A huge, huge first inning to jump out and give this team the substantial lead, and they're able to hold on. Bryan Woo was good, not great. I would say definitely let Tampa crawl back into this one a little bit more than we probably would have liked. But again, Woo gets through 6 innings, 9 strikeouts. I think only 1 walk or no walks. I'll pull up the box score here in a minute. So it's hard to say he wasn't good in this game. Josh Naylor adds a home run. Cal Raleigh, number 45 on the season. Gino checks in with a clutch hit. Julio's on base 3 times today. Dom gets a couple hits. Mitch Garver's on base twice. I mean, the offense is just rolling right now. And they've been doing this at home. That's the other thing where it's harder to hit. Next, they get to go on the road and play in Baltimore, which I know they moved. No, they moved those fences back in, didn't they, in left field? So that's a little bit more of a hitter's park now. New York, the Mets, I believe, is a pitcher's park, but then Philly is a place where you can get a lot of runs in. So, man, this team could really, really take off. Now, Philly's got great pitching and stuff, so that might make it difficult there for sure. But this has just been a wild ride. And this homestand, I mean, yes, the Mariners have won a couple games where they got some walk-offs, but the one loss they had on this homestand was that extra inning game to the Rangers, and the Rangers dinked and dunked a bunch of hits there in the 10th and 11th inning. That doesn't happen. Could have been a 10-0 homestand. Now the Mariners had close wins over the Whites, a close win over the White Sox and extras. They beat Texas on a walk-off home run, so you can always play that both ways. But we're in a positive mood, so we're going to play it with a positive spin here for the Mariners. So just a ton of fun right now to turn it on. And, man, just to see this offense, just jump on these pitchers, right? Like Boyle yesterday has got electric stuff. He's been good since getting into that rotation. Adrian Hauser's a guy I talked about that I wanted the Mariners to maybe look at grabbing from Chicago. Entered today with an ERA in 2.5, 2.6, ground ball machine. Doesn't give up a ton of home runs. In fact, I think only 4 all year. Cal gets him for a home run. And the Mariners jump on him early. He settles in and ends up pitching, well enough. But the Mariners still blasted him for 4 runs in 5 innings. They just happened to get all 4 in that one inning. And even in that inning, they kind of ran themselves out of it. Gino gets, caught in a rundown there. They might have been able to put up 5 or 6 on Hauser and chase him. And he's been really good this year. This is not a matter of bad pitchers anymore. Coming in, the Mariners hit a couple bad pitchers and got shut down by the good ones. They've pounded Jacob deGrom recently. Even some of the White Sox guys, Shane Smith has been pretty good for them this year. He was an all-star. White Sox, maybe, we won't get on that too much, but you know what I mean? He's been fine. They found a way to get a couple runs off Merrill Kelly. They hit Kumar Rocker pretty well. And then the Rays pitching, they struggled against Rasmussen, but Boyle and then Hauser today, they're able to get a hold of. So just been a ton of fun. And again, when they're rolling, it's kind of hard. I don't know what to say. This is great. This is a lot of fun. Enjoy it. I think a day off tomorrow that it might sound weird because they're on a roll, but I think it's good. Gives the bullpen a chance to reset, gives the team a chance to just catch their breath a little bit, and then hopefully go on the road and have a nice road trip here. I do think it's a challenging road trip. I think if you can get out of it, I think it's a 9-game trip. If you can get out of that, 5-4 would be amazing. I don't think 4-5 is necessarily the worst thing ever either on that road trip, because they're doing enough damage now against teams that, the White Sox, a team they needed to do damage against. The Rays are decent, but, you want to beat them. And then Texas as well, that you don't have to go 7-3 against the great teams. You can do the breaking 500. And then if you're coming home and you're able to beat, the A's or the Angels, whoever you play in the next homestand, then it's okay. So I don't want to get, so far ahead where people are mad if they don't go 6-3 either. Like it's tough teams. This is teams that you could, outside of Baltimore, the Mets and Phillies are potential World Series teams. The Mets are reeling right now, but they're too talented to just, keep fading. They're going to get some victories here eventually. And even though Baltimore's not playing good baseball, you're going to face Trevor Rogers has been outstanding. Dean Kramer's pretty good. And Sagano's, gets some results. He doesn't strike out a lot of guys or anything, but, can be decent. And they've got talent, right? You got Gunnar Henderson, Adley Rutschman, and they swept you early in the year. So, it's not a talentless Orioles team there that you're going to be going up against. But, man, what a homestand. I feel like I'm just repeating myself here, and 13 games over 500. I mean, for a while there, it was like, man, they can't get to 9. They can't get to 9 over 500. And now here they are, 13 over 500. And, I mean, we're legitimately talking about a chance for the best record in the American League. And it's not crazy. It is not at all. I am not going to fight anybody. In fact, I'm actually at the point now, I did say it a little bit yesterday, like, for a while there, I was like, I think the team's just as likely to make the playoffs as they are to miss it. That was kind of the thing I was saying. I'm not there anymore. I mean, listen, someone can clip this if they don't get in, so be it. I'm just telling you how I feel. I would be very, very surprised now if this team doesn't get in. I don't know where it's going to be in the playoffs, but man, I would be pretty blown away, because that would mean Cleveland or the Cleveland or the Rangers had to pass you and the Yankees, and then the Yankees had to pass you as well. So 2 of those 3 would have to pass you. And I could maybe see one of them. I still think the Yankees could get hot and be that team, but I don't see it. I'm at the point where I would be pretty surprised if this team isn't in. I would be way less shocked if they finish with the best record in the American League. Just to give an idea where I'm at. Teams disappointed before. I'm not saying it's impossible, but that's where I'm at. In terms of the AL West, I do feel pretty confident. Listen, Houston is a team that they just find a way. So I'm probably not as confident in it as I should be. And they're getting guys back too. I will never count that team out at all. Even this series against the Yankees, they get Jason Alexander, George Costanza beating, Max Fried today. So, they'll find a way. That's going to be a battle to the end. But, even if Houston wins tomorrow and they're a game up because you don't play, one, they'll have beaten Boston, not the worst thing in the world for the Mariners. And I said a few weeks ago, get the AL West to 2 going into September. I'm still at that point. If you're 1-2 back, should be fine. You play Houston 3 times, you win the series. You'll have the tiebreaker. You'd be, maybe a game back or something like that. So you just don't want a team to gain so much momentum where you start getting 3, 4, 5 back. That's when you're running into trouble. Anything 2 or less or ahead, obviously, is totally fine. And if Houston's going to beat teams, the Yankees and the Red Sox, not the worst teams for them to beat right now. Let's get into the box score today. Like I said, kind of a unique start for Bryan Woo. He gets the win, 10-6, continues his streak of going 6 innings in every start this season. He goes 6 innings, gives up 7 hits, 3 runs, all earned, 1 walk, 9 strikeouts, 99 pitches, 74 for strikes. I do think Woo was a little bit too much down the middle today, covered a little too much of the plate. I will say home plate umpire Adrian Johnson, while I do think he was pretty consistent, was not giving away hardly any of the edges. It wasn't even like, oh, if you get the bottom right, he's calling it. He was just not giving the edges to Woo at all, or Hauser, really, for that matter, throughout this game. So, that may have played a part of it as well. And it wasn't like the big guns in the Rays lineup got to Woo. It was Ha-Seong Kim with the home run. Simpson had a couple doubles and a triple down the line. How else did they score? You had the Kim home run. Yandy Diaz had a ground out, but that was after the triple. And then you had the Kim double was the other run. So it wasn't like Caminero and Lau, got to you there, or even, Yandy Diaz, almost said Yainer Diaz, or Yandy Diaz got to you. So a little disappointing that those guys did the damage against Woo. But man, another 6-inning start for him. It's a quality start. Only 1 walk, 9 strikeouts, another game where he ties a career high in strikeouts. Maybe a little gassed. I think a day off will be good. It'll essentially give him an extra day's rest. I think that might help a little bit. Got to remember, Woo is, I think, probably past his career high in innings pitched as well here. That could be factoring in a little bit. He did look a little fatigued. Again, good start, right? There's 9 strikeouts, only 1 walk. And I think the ump played a role in that too. So, definitely a quality start, but I do think like an extra day off will be nice for some of these guys. With the offense cooking, you don't need the pitching to be, 8 shutout innings every time, but you want to make sure they're not giving back 4-run leads. Caleb Ferguson was solid, inning and 2/3. They asked a lot of him today, and he threw 39 pitches. Pretty clear that Spire and Munoz and probably Bizardo were all down today. A little surprised all of them were down with the day off tomorrow, but it would appear that way. They essentially needed Caleb Ferguson to go too, and he did a real solid job. Only the 1 hit and a walk, along with 2 strikeouts. Definitely kind of a bulldog performance for Caleb Ferguson. He has helped tremendously since coming over from Pittsburgh. Nice job by Carlos Vargas. He gets the ground out of, who did he get to ground out there in the 8th? Let me just make sure I have it accurately here. Let's go to the top of the 8th. See if I can pull that bottom of the 8th. Kim, Ha-Seong Kim, who had a good game today. So nice job by Vargas to come in and get that out. And then Matt Brash with an easy 9th inning. As the Mariners were up by 3 runs and Brash closes it out. I wasn't even sure Brash was available because I thought it was kind of odd that they went to Vargas. It is kind of funny. I'm not going to get on Dan for it. It doesn't really matter all that much. But you can make a case that not even make the case. It's the truth. Vargas pitched in a much higher leverage spot than Brash. You probably should have gone to Brash there in the 8th. Then you add on the run, which you don't know that's going to happen, but you hope it does. And then use Vargas in the 9th. I think that probably is how I would have managed it, but it worked out fine, right? It's not a huge deal. I just think maybe that worked out a little bit backwards in that instance. But I could also understand not wanting Vargas to have to get the whole inning, get a save in a spot where he isn't super comfortable either. So real great job by the bullpen today, backing up Bryan Woo behind him. And the offense does it again. 9 hits, 6 runs, 5 walks. Just wearing down starting pitchers and bullpens, getting on base. The long ball again today, like I said, Cal and Naylor go deep. Was there another home run? No, I thought they had another one for some reason. Gino gets a big hit. That was huge to see. He struggled since coming over. It was good to see Gino check in. Dom with the big RBI there in the 8th. Nice job by the offense. Again, I've talked about it, but adding those insurance runs in the 7th and 8th was huge. It would have been nice to score some runs in the middle of the game for sure. But 4-3, 6 outs to go without maybe Spire and Munoz, maybe your best 2 arms in the bullpen. Huge for the offense to add on. They've done it multiple times now on this homestand. So those little things, some of the little things the team has been missing over the years. They haven't been an atrocious offense or anything, but they just missing little pieces, and it seems like they've really filled that in this year. Randy was 1 for 4 and was hit by a pitch, so Randy on board twice today. Cal Raleigh 1 for 5 with a 2-run home run. We'd like to see Cal get on base some more too, with some walks and some singles. But again, if you're only going to get one type of a hit, make it a home run. Number 45 for Cal Raleigh on the season. I'm nitpicking, right? The dude's hitting bombs again. 3 straight games home in this series with the home run, homers in all of them. And I mean, where's he at? I mean, 15 to 60 home runs. Could he do it? 43 games left. We know how he can get hot. I mean, I definitely think 55 to 60 is definitely very, very doable for Cal Raleigh. Julio with a nice day, 2 for 3, and was hit by a pitch as well. So Julio on base 3 times. Great day for Josh Naylor, 1 for 2 with the home run and a walk. Naylor just continuing to hit tanks since coming over here. And man, the pitches his bat can get to are incredible, because that was another one top shelf above the zone. Gino checks in, 1 for 4 with a 2 RBI single. Really good to see. Still missing some pitches, but nice to see Gino checking and contributing there. I think the road trip he might get going. Polanco is 1 for 4 with a run scored. Garver 0 for 2 with a couple walks. Listen, you don't need Mitch Garver to be great. He's your backup catcher, comes in, gets on base a couple times for you. Perfect. Dom Canzone 2 for 4 with an RBI single. Dom checking in with 2 hits and a huge RBI there in the 8th. And JP 0 for 2, but on base twice with 2 walks. I mean, everybody in this lineup contributing. Garver and JP were combined on base 4 times today. Like just locked in. And I still don't think they've reached their full potential. They still left runs out there. I talked about it yesterday. This isn't a criticism of them, but I'm just saying how much better they could even be. Left the bases loaded in the first inning. There was multiple innings where they'd run, I think, first and second. Gino grounded into a double play at one point. Even that 8th inning, after Dom's single, they had first and second, nobody out. Chance to get to 7, 8, 9 runs. So they're scoring all these runs and still leaving stuff out there. It's not like they're just getting a 2-out bloop and a random home run. They're putting base runners on, constant pressure, and they're going to score even more runs here. I still don't think they're cooking all the way, and that's what's so exciting for me about this team. And the pitching has been so much better since the All-Star break. Sky's the limit. Enjoy the day off. Like, comment, subscribe. It's going to be a fun final month. And as always, go Mariners. Peace.